It may have flew over people's heads, or a lot of people may not have noticed, but we should all know now that Shawn Porter, 26-1-1 with 16 KOs versus Keith Thurman, 26-0 with 22 KOs, is going to be fighting on March the 12th, 2016 in the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. You should also know that if you don't, that the fight is going to be on CBS. But here's the kicker. It's not going to be PBC on CBS. It's going to be some special edition Showtime Championship Boxing on free television. What sense does that make? I'm not quite sure. Now, maybe this network thing is part of the reason why the fight has been held up so long. But that's another video where I'm actually going to talk about PBC, Heyman, the debt that PBC could be in, and all the news surrounding what may happen with PBC going forward in the future. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. As I said, 26-0 with 22 KOs. Keith Thurman, WBA world champion, who should be, before March the 12th, elevated to WBA super world champion, therefore making Thurman versus Porter for Floyd Mayweather's vacated, or basically, you know, it all depends on how you look at it. Some people want to say the WBA stripped him and the WBC stripped him. Some people want to say they elevated him so that when he comes back, he'll be #1 contender, which is a merited status. But basically, long story short, Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter should be for the full championship at 147 pounds. Also, if you don't know, the WBA president has said that they're going to be eliminating WBA regular or WBA world titles, and they're just going to have one champion in each division and one interim champion in each division. Now, we'll see if they keep that up. Keith Thurman at 26-0 with 22 KOs. Okay, here's what his resume consists of. Names that you may know. Diego Chavez. That was a very good fight. He gave Diego Chavez his first defeat. Jesus Soto Karass. Jesus Soto Karass was still on the up and up in his career at that point in time with fights against wins over Andre Berto. And also he had that good fight with Devin Alexander. I don't know if that was before or after he fought Keith Thurman. I believe it was before. But when you look at Luis Collazo, you know, the names that are there, it's not really, okay, put it this way. He doesn't have someone that he fought that you can look at and say, okay, he's going to give him some real major troubles. In my opinion, he shouldn't have fought Luis Collazo. I believe that was a waste of a fight. You know, when he fought Robert Guerrero, we all know that if the boxer Robert Guerrero would have shown up, it would have been a much more intriguing fight. But at that point in time, you have to say Robert Guerrero's only mainstream loss at that point in time was to Floyd Mayweather. So Keith Thurman getting a win over Robert Guerrero at that time, you know, was a big win for him. But still, I expected more from him, and I still expect more from him going now into the future. Now that if he wins against Shawn Porter, he'll be basically, in my opinion, the best champion at 147 pounds. You know, if Timothy Bradley, it'll be between him and Timothy Bradley if Timothy Bradley beats Pacquiao. But I believe that Keith Thurman is on his way to being the #1 guy at 147 pounds if he beats Shawn Porter. Now, talking about unifications and him fighting Danny Garcia, you know, or Saddam Ali, you know, or Jesse Vargas or Timothy Bradley, you know, or Kell Brook, it's too much politics involved with those fights, and I can sit here and talk all day about it. But if you really don't know the political landscape of boxing right now, then you're just lost in the sauce, and it's hard to be able to keep backtracking in videos to educate you on what's going on, even though I'll be glad to do so. So looking at right now, when it comes to Shawn Porter, in my opinion, has the better resume with Devin Alexander, Kell Brook, Paulie Malignaggi, Eric Bonet. I mean, I know you can't really count Eric Bonet, but and Adrian Broner. Shawn Porter doesn't have the boxing skill, in my ability. He's not a better overall boxer than Keith Thurman, but he'll be a different type of a fighter than Keith Thurman is seen, as far as a guy who's going to relentlessly come for you and crowd your space. Now, Keith Thurman has had some question marks over his ability to be able to stay on his feet via body shots just because of that one round by Luis Collazo. And I think it's a bit unfair that people are judging him off that one round, but still, it's, you know, it showed right there that if you can get to Keith Thurman and if you can hammer him enough to the body, that maybe you have a chance to get him on the back foot and put him down. So, you know, it's in my opinion, it's a 50-50 fight. You know, I want to go with Keith Thurman, but I can't say that Shawn Porter is really the underdog. He can run through Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman is a hell of a boxer. You know, Keith Thurman can keep a fighter like Shawn Porter off of him, but what happens if he can't? You know, we don't see Keith Thurman clinch too much. What does Keith Thurman's inside game look like? That's what I'm interested in seeing. But like I said, there's a big story involved here, and why this fight is on, you know, CBS and not PBC on CBS is just, I got to get around to doing that video like sooner than later. But I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. It's a shame because I would like to see this fight. I would like to see this fighter go for a unification. You know, I don't think that they can go after the IBF because after Kevin Bizier, who Kell Brook has to fight, then he gets a voluntary. He wants Amir Khan, but that has to be in June. You know, or if he doesn't get Amir Khan, he'll likely fight in June or July. And then he has to fight his mandatory in Errol Spence by the end of this year, somewhere around there. So I don't see a winner of a Keith Thurman versus a Shawn Porter fighting for the IBF. And then when it comes to the WBC, you got Amir Khan, who is mandated to fight Danny Garcia. And right now, I would love to see Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman or Shawn Porter versus a Danny Garcia or Amir Khan. But it just doesn't seem, you know, it just doesn't seem likely. Like I said, if you don't know the politics in boxing, you know, you're kind of out of the loop because you in your head, you want so many fights, you know, but at the same time, you know that they can't happen if you know as much as I know, or if you know as much as a lot of, or as it should be, all the media knows. On March the 12th is going to be the return of my Google Hangouts. Right here on the channel. My throat is dry. We're going to be covering Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter, all boxing news. And basically, on this channel, we're going to be doing a live stream for about a couple hours or so, maybe longer after the fight, and just talking boxing news. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe.